Hey, what's up you guys? I just filmed a quick video on how to make super simple beaded headpin earrings. Now I'm going to show you a slightly more intermediate technique. That way if you like a challenge or you like a more, I don't know, just a fancier design that uses wire wrapping, then you'll know how to do it. So our first step is just to pour out our beads onto a beading mat so that way they won't roll away. And then kind of pick out the types of beads you want to use. I like to do 2 beads on my earrings. So I think maybe I'll do these blue and white beads today. And let's see, zoom in a bit. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is pick up your head pin and just slide your beads on it so that they hit the base of the head pin. They're only gonna just, stop right at the very bottom. Do the same thing on the other side, or on the other ear wire, I guess, would be the right way of saying that. Oh my gosh, this fell off. I wonder if that means the hole is too big. Sometimes you'll have oh geez, it is. Sometimes you'll have a bead where the hole is just a little bit too large. We might have to rethink our design here. That happens. One way to solve it is to put a small seed bead at the base as like an additional stopper, but I'll just switch out my beads instead. Okay, like this. Perfect. All right, so I have my beads on here. Now we did this in our last video that I filmed, but you're just gonna clamp the beads with your plier. You're just gonna clamp right above them. And then using your thumb, you just fold them down. So that creates like a 90-degree angle. I'll do that again. So I just clamp my pliers right above them. There's a little bit of space, a little bit of a gap. And then use my fingers, I just fold it right over. Just making this little 90-degree angle. Now what we can do is we pick it back up and we're gonna take our pliers and clamp it about midway up the plier so the tail is sticking out on one side, and with your fingers you can just bend the tail of the wire as far as you can until you can't bend anymore. When you pull it out, you're going to have kind of like this loop shape. It's not a perfect circle, so what I'm going to do is slip it back on the bottom of the pliers, clip down, and then just use my finger to crisscross. Now when I take it off, it's a perfect little circle. I'm going to do the same thing over here. So take your pliers, clamp it about midway, and just bend it over. It doesn't make a whole circle, so we have to put it back on the bottom and crisscross. Let me show you. This is like kind of like bent over to the side. If you don't want it to be kind of leaning over, you can just straighten it out with your finger. Now it's sitting pretty. It's a little more regal, a little more straight that way. All right, I'm going to show you how to wire wrap these tails. So you have these excess tails. Don't trim them off yet. It's always tricky. See how close I can get it without destroying. Okay, so now you're going to hold the beads, take your pliers, and clamp onto the loop to hold it. Now with your fingers, wrap the tail end around the post of your head pin. So I'm just wrapping it. This is very similar to the skills we used when we made rings. I'm just wrapping it in a tight, consistent coil. That's the key, is you want it to be consistent. So it looks like a little spring. Do you see that? I still have a little bit of a tail. At this point, you can't really wrap it because that's so short. That's like a centimeter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my clippers. Oh, this is tricky. And get in as close as I can and just clip that off. Mine's like a little bit funky and bent, so I just take my pliers and straighten it out. If your tail is still sticking up a little bit, you can try to use your pliers to really flatten it and squish it down. Ooh, that worked out perfect. All right, so that's what this looks like. It's a little wire wrapped earring, or it can be a charm, like for a necklace or a charm bracelet. So the same thing on this one. So if you can't quite remember, you want to slide your beads, slide them down to the bottom. That way you have some space. Hold the loop with your pliers, and then with your finger, wrap this tail around the post of your head pin. The post just means the vertical part. And you're trying to get this super consistent, so not loosey-goosey, not all spaced out, really tight, like a little spring. Like the springs on a trampoline, you know what I mean? I have a little tail right here, you can see it sparkling. Take your clippers, nip it off. If it's still short and sticking up a bit, you can get in there and flatten it out. Now the benefit to making earrings like this is it creates a very permanent connection. It cannot come undone because it's been wire wrapped closed. So it's really sturdy in that sense. So you're never gonna these are never gonna fall off of your ear wires, in theory. To actually attach them to their ear wires, since now they're kind of shut closed, you know, they're wire wrapped closed, what you'll need to rely on is opening up the ear wire. So when we open up ear wires, we don't want to bend them out of shape. You just want to lift the tail end up. I'm just lifting it up. Let me see if I can show you. So it's not bent out of shape. It's just lifted up. Then you can take this loop and slip it in like a chain. Then all you need to do is just bring this back down. And it's closed. And then that's it. It's just going to stay there. It's lovely, you guys. What a beautiful thing. Let's see if I can do. Boink. Just gonna lift it up, slide them together like chain links, use my pliers, and close it back up. And that's how you make simple dangle earrings for beads that have center holes. I'm gonna make one more video that shows you how to make earrings for beads that don't have center holes. Sometimes we have beads that have a top hole, so like a hole that goes through at the tip. This is usually when you have like a teardrop shaped bead. They'll have like a little channel at the top. These earrings that we just made right now, they have holes that run through the middle, like through the center, but I'll show you how to do earrings for this type of bead next.